I just had a man speaking to me just shortly ago. He works in a very poor neighbourhood. He lives in a housing project. He's been in prison a couple of times. He was drummed out of the army. He's got a kind of checkered background. He's now totally devoted to Christ, living among the poorest of the poor in this city and doing remarkable things. But not lots of baptisms, not lots of people sitting in pews, but extraordinary impact in terms of the kingdom of God. And the organisation that he works for want him to fill in a form every month. How many baptisms, how many people have attended church, how much money has been given. They're the measuring sticks for his ministry. But he is working among people of low levels of literacy, high levels of sexual abuse, domestic violence, unemployment. He has moved into this community. He lives among them like salt and light. He's only been there for a year or so, and he's having enormous traction. But he can't fill in any of those figures on baptisms and church attendance and money. And so he was saying, what should I measure? What should I tell them I am actually achieving? Because I just have to put 0, 0, 0 on this form. I think what we need to start measuring is, how is the reign or rule of God in this place being perceived? Where is the kingdom of God unfurling or flourishing? How can we measure where justice is breaking out, where peace is emerging, where love becomes the order of the day? Start to measure what it looks like in a family of violence for peace to start to break out. Start to measure in a place of unbelief where faith starts to emerge. Start to measure what it looks like in a place of poverty where prosperity starts to break out. We need a whole new set of gauges for measuring the stuff that Jesus was concerned with. I mean, Jesus wasn't chiefly concerned about how much we tithe and how many people we have attending church and how big our buildings were. I mean, Jesus was chiefly concerned about the kingdom of God beginning like a mustard seed and growing to become the most unruly, messy, unmanageable tree of all, the mustard tree of the ancient Near East. I mean, the mustard tree was a mess of a tree. I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of it. It doesn't grow tall like a sequoia. It branches out all over the place. It's shaggy and bushy and messy, and its root systems go really far and wide. I mean, you want to pull a mustard tree out, you're going to literally destroy all the earth around the place. It's a mess of a shrub. And Jesus picks that tree. He says the kingdom begins like this tiny little thing, but when it takes root, it becomes this intractable thing. And its roots go far and wide, and trying to get it out would be impossible. Well, I think this guy is just telling you about, he's like a mustard seed. It's small right now. By living in that neighbourhood, having high relational capacity, by actually bringing to bear the kingdom of God in that place, what you'll start to see is this big, messy, bush, organic thing start to take root in that place with roots that go everywhere in a way that will never be able to root back out again, unlike a big tree that can be chopped down. I mean, a lot of churches, I think they're like sequoias. You could chop them at the trunk and down they go. But a mustard tree, not so easy to get rid of. And I think we ought to think more in terms of that kind of imagery rather than how much bigger and taller we can be. How much messier and more organic can we be? So measuring evidences of the kingdom would be more important than measuring the size of your building. I can't tell you how many pastors have taken me to their neighbourhoods to show me around what they're doing. The first thing they show me is their church building. They'll take me through the sanctuary and the fellowship halls and the offices. Like, this is what God is doing in your neighbourhood? Then there's other people who can say, I'd love to show you my neighbourhood. And they'll take you to the coffee shop. They'll take you to the community centre. They'll take you to the public art co-op. And they'll show you that Christian people have actually joined these things and are allowing the kingdom of God to emerge right here under the noses of those who've not yet been set free.